And now I'd like to introduce our Mercedes Independent School District Superintendent, Dr. Alicia Noyola. She'll have a few words to say as well. Welcome.
You can introduce your staff with Commissioner Center.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank the city, mayor, everybody put our event together for giving me the opportunity to visit and just share a few words. Before I do, I do have a few people from our school district that I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce, beginning with our board president, Mr. Marcos Garcia. Mr. RAUL Herrera, our director of maintenance. Ms. Clarissa Martinez, who is our PR and marketing specialist. So blessed to have them here, as well as all the amazing people that support our school district. Earlier today, I was at another event, and I was sharing with them about this weekend's Veterans Day Parade. And which, by the way, I want to congratulate Mr. RAUL Herrera and the team that put that whole parade together. It was such a great event to be able to bring our community together to celebrate and honor our veterans. But I had the opportunity to ride on a float. And so the day before, as I was thinking about coming, I said, you know what, I'm going to take my niece and my nephew. My niece is 7 years old, Caroline, and my nephew is 9, James. And so on the way over there, we're talking about Veterans Day. And because, they're like, why are we going? Typical little ones. So why are we going? And so on the ride over, I'm talking to them about Veterans Day and why we celebrate our veterans, the sacrifices that they've made. We talked about, that they leave their families, a lot of the things that the mayor spoke about. And so Caroline, 7 years old, well, did their kids cry? And, little questions that she's asking. James didn't ask a lot of questions. He was quiet. And when I finish, he just says, wow. And so for a 9-year-old, sometimes they've gotten hard to impress. And for him, wow was really communicating how impressed he was, but just the concept. So anyway, we're on the float. And they're waving their little flags because I put them on the float with me. And I couldn't help but reflect about them, being my little ones, and about our students in Mercedes ISD. And I was thinking about this world that they are growing up in, a world that's very fast-paced, a world that sometimes values instant gratification and convenience and so forth, and even one that really values individual accomplishments as opposed to sometimes collective success. And so, I'm watching them and thinking about all our kids, and then, I'm watching the crowd, and I saw a few of our veterans proudly standing, especially when some of the flags would go by. And then this morning and even here today, as I'm watching everybody and all our veterans just standing so proudly for the flag, saluting, standing tall and proud. And I was reminded that for our students, sometimes the greatest lessons aren't taught through technology. They're not taught through trends or even through books sometimes. Sometimes the greatest lessons are taught by observing people, by people that live by example. And that is what we have here today. And so Veterans Day becomes a meaningful day for us in education, because it's an opportunity to educate our students on the power and the values in particular that veterans display. Values that sometimes, unfortunately, our children and even us as adults don't have an opportunity to see. I think about values like courage, which for our students, sometimes they believe courage means that it's someone that is not scared. They're not scared about anything. When in reality, we know that courage is not about an absence of fear. It's that in spite of fear, you step forward when others step back. It's about humility, the value of humility that so many of our veterans carry, who don't look for events like this. That's not why they joined. Sometimes they have to be pushed to say, let's go to this event. And the value of service over self, where the question is, how can I help, not what do I get? And so we as a school district, we as a community have a tremendous responsibility to continue to expose our students to these types of values. And so days like today, and I ask of our veterans that every opportunity that you have to please come forward so that our students can see what those values truly look like, so that they too can begin to emulate. And I know that we carry a big responsibility in highlighting and exposing our students and teaching them about these values. But it's never quite the same as seeing it in person. And so today, on behalf of our school district, on behalf of our families, and on behalf of the students who are inheriting a future that those of you here helped to create for them, we thank you for your service. We honor you, and we strive every day to educate our students in a way that does honor to the sacrifice that you have made for them. God bless our amazing veterans. God bless Mercedes ISD, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Noyola, for those beautiful words.